Today, as I've said, I'm at our Wesley Kickstart in northwest Sydney. This is the accommodation arm of our Take Charge of Your Life programme, which we developed to support young people transitioning from foster care into independent living as young adults. To tell me more about this and other areas of our work we do with families and young people, I'm joined by a member of our team at Wesley Mission, Rita Karraz. Lovely to see you, Rita. Rita, tell us a little about the scope of the work you do.
I manage the Take Charge of Your Life program, and Kickstart is part of that program, and we support young people as they transition out of foster care into independent living.
We said this a lot of times, and I don't think people always get it, what transitioning is all about, because surely, like everybody else, you reach a certain age and then you just get on with the next part of your life. What's the problem?
That's true. You do kind of become an adult, but there's a lot of skills that you have to learn along the way. And for young people in foster care, some of those skills just get missed. They can get missed for all sorts of different reasons. And our program just makes sure that we can just check that they've learned all the skills that they need to learn. They develop a way of thinking, to think independently, to have all the different aspects of life that they need developed into their daily living.
And I've campaigned, I've spoken to our own government people, the minister and the people who have responsibility at government level, how important it is to not believe when somebody reaches a magic age of 18 that they're out the door.
That's so true. It's so true, Keith. We know that although legally people are an adult at 18, it doesn't mean that they are an adult in all the skills that they need. And often children come and go from home and they need that ongoing support, and our program allows us to do that for young people in care. Although the government funding may stop, Wesley's support continues into adulthood.
I mean, many of us would say that some of the biggest lessons we learnt in life happened between those magic ages of about 18 and 22.
Absolutely.
When we not only are adults, we actually start to become adults. And some of the practical stuff is very, very... And have you seen some stories that are good stories of how this has impacted lives?
Absolutely. We've had young people who were living in Karraz, and I've had a phone call on a Friday afternoon saying a young person who was in foster care, you know, things have gone astray for them and don't have anywhere to live, and I've been able to say, yep, we've got a bed in Kickstart, they can stay the night, and then we can work with them on even things like getting the papers they need for identification so they can get a driver's licence, or it might be helping them to get a job, it might be supporting them in all sorts of different ways. Sometimes it's around mental health, getting the kind of medical help that they need. Sometimes it's around relationships and connecting with people that will help them to establish their life into the future so that they have not only their own independent living skills but also have a community around them, so we might work around that. So it just depends on each young person and what they need.
Hey, let me wind back a little bit. Homelessness and foster care, what's the link?
Sometimes when young people turn 18 or even before, the relationship with the foster carers might break down, or even if they have a good relationship, sometimes just living in the home can't continue for a whole range of different reasons, and young people may want to break out and be independent and do their own thing, and then they find that just falls apart and they don't know where to go, and they can't always go back to the carers, but they can sort of connect with us and we can try and support them through that.
Rita,
again.
this is obviously a Christian programme and we speak into that space for many people. How does the Christian faith affect the work that you do?
I think one of the key things is it gives us hope, and one of the young people that was actually in the house once said to me, goes, how can you always be so hopeful? Like, my life is a mess, and you can support me and be hopeful in my future. And I guess that's one of the key things. And for me, I guess also personally as the manager of the program, it means I'm not in control of everything, and I know that somebody else has got a hand over it that's much bigger than me, and that for me gives me a lot of peace.
In fact, many of our programmes, you can trace a God-given sense in which something happens. You say, no, we couldn't have arranged that. Tell us one of the stories then, one of these great stories of things that have happened. Yeah,
a situation where we've had a young person who, when we looked at the criteria, really didn't fit for a whole lot of different reasons. And it's really difficult to say no to young people coming into the house, but we also have to manage that there are other young people, so we need to get the criteria right. In this situation, the young girl, we had said no. A whole lot of things happened that just ended up she was going to be here. And I remember saying to one of the other managers, look, you know, this is in God's hands and it's his thing, and he obviously wants her to be here, so let's give it a go. She didn't stay for an extended period. She stayed for a couple of weeks, but that just gave some settling in time and a chance for her to regroup and for people to look at what's next.
And life skills that we talk about so often here, they're often things that are passed on through loving relationships more than, we don't say we're having our life skills moment here now in a home any more than here. It's just learned through people. And people make friendships here as well.
Yeah. And the staff, my team are fantastic and connect really well with the young people. And it is about relationship, and it's not booking in, we're going to do cooking at 5 o'clock this afternoon, but it might be, you know, you do want to cook the meal for the house tonight, and one of my staff may come and help them do that. So that's a really natural way of doing it. And more importantly, I think through some of that practical stuff, they're also talking through, you know, life plans and what do you want to achieve in life and how can we help you get there. But it's done in a natural way. It's not done sitting down with a book and ticking a list of things. It's done very
And
natural.
we at Wesley Mission, I personally will continue that campaign to make sure that we help government to understand that people need support, ongoing support, not just to some magic age. And we're just grateful that Wesley Mission and you are able to help and provide that, Rita, at this special time in people's lives.